Hi everybody, Raging back with another Mechabellum video. Today we are playing Technord. This is going to be a more informative kind of video where I'm going to talk about how to maintain tempo with aggression and how to create misdirection so that your opponent is unable to predict your next move up to the point where you basically just win the game. This is one of those games where the tempo stays on every single turn. I actually take no damage. So, which is rather rare. Which is why I wanted to cover this game. So, starting out, I am Farseer Specialist, which has great tempo. The Farseer is probably one of the strongest units in the game. When you get it on round 3 to round 5, I would say Farseer is probably one of the most dominant units in the game. So that's why I take the Farseer Specialist. I think it might be strongest. So, and actually, it's pretty much the entire reason I take it, because I don't like Steel Ball Fang openings. I think that the Fangs are a little awkward with the Steel Balls, which you'll see that I'm already a little confused where to put them. I don't want them to be completely useless. I want them to contribute in some way, so I'm going to try and figure that out. My opponent is a Supply Specialist, and he has a very solid opener with Stormcallers, Fangs, and Crawlers. So I've opted to put these Fangs here to act sort of like a... You might put an Arc Light here with these units. So this is going to take the place of an Arc Light. This will defend flanks in the future rounds. And this Fang should pull anything on this side this way, so that if he adds Crawlers, they don't take my tower on round 1. That's the idea there. Steel Balls in front of the Crawlers in case he gets Arc Lights. And actually, this round will be pretty decisively ours. These Fangs behind are actually mopping up all the Crawlers, and now we'll push towards these Fangs here, so they did pretty well. Pretty unlucky volleys for him there, actually. Like, I feel like luckier volleys, he actually takes that round. Stormcallers are kind of troll sometimes. I don't know why they miss. And sometimes they hit everything, and sometimes they just miss. So in this position, I pretty much will always take Wraith. Wraith with Steel Balls is really strong, because the Wraith can clear all the chaff units, and the Steel Balls can then push forward to do their thing, take towers and kill Arc Lights. There actually isn't much for them to kill right now, but in the off chance a giant shows up right in this little hole that he's created, Steel Balls will be great. If I do take the Wraith, he takes the Marksman, and I do see that the Marksmen are available to him in the pack. I think that's why it took me a little while to pick the Wraith. But the Wraith is good anyway, so I feel like there's probably a lot of people who will see the 3 Marksmen and be scared off the Wraith. Now, I'm not worried about him taking Wraith, because I'm Farseer Specialist, and on round 3 I'll have a Farseer that can defend against the Wraith. So I'm not worried about the Wraith in the drop. I'm like sort of thinking about taking Marksman, but Marksmen are really like awkward in an aggressive position. And they're really good in defensive position, so I fully expect him to take it. Especially if they have anti-air. But in aggro, there's an interesting thing that you can do. You can bait your opponent into making hasty decisions. So if I have 1 Wraith, and he takes anti-air specialization, it's actually good for me, because that's a lot of an investment in something that I've basically invested nothing in. I got this for free, I just put it down. And if he doesn't take anti-air specialization, this Wraith will do well. And if it just continues to do well, I'll just level it up and never tech it. So don't be scared away from your game plan. Don't let the drops determine don't let them determine all of your gameplay, because a level 2 Wraith is formidable. So if you can actually get a level on the Wraith, it won't matter that he has the Marksman at a certain point, especially if you click 8 gun in range. I mean, holy smokes, is one of the strongest units in the game, especially when pushing with Steel Ball. So I wanted to talk about that because I've definitely been scared off it in the past, and I think it's a mistake. You stick with your game plan, right? Whatever you know how to play, play it. He's going to missile my Steel Balls. I'm going to add some crawlers. So I've added crawlers here to assist the Wraith, and center crawlers as well, who further help pull the units on this side to this side, since I haven't leveled this tower still. Actually, that was a good block. Crawlers actually blocked that missile for the Steel Balls. And now we have the Wraith, which is pretty much just going to take the round because it's so strong. If it comes out on round 2, it's really hard to stop. Even with Marksman on the board, pretty tanky. And I did click the defense enhancement too. I've been doing that with Steel Balls, is clicking the defense enhancement, because people like to missile the Steel Balls so to prevent them from getting levels. The round 2 will also go to us. It's a close one, but we do get this guy dead. And even better, the round that the Wraith comes out, it levels. That's really scary if you're my opponent. And a laser sight. I'd be quaking. Immediately, I level the Wraith and throw the laser sight. I still have 0 invested in this. I can sell this anytime. I have no checks into it. I'm really just trying to bait out anti-air, and then I'm going to pivot away from the air. That's my plan right now. I fully expect him to be doing that, but he has not done that. And he hasn't done it because I haven't clicked any of these buttons yet on the Wraith. If I click any of these buttons, he will. So I'm just chilling for now, right? Just keep that Wraith. I got the Farseer now. I'm going to get some more crawlers. He's going to flank me with crawlers to pull my Wraith back. I like that play. It'll also distract my Steel Balls. Well, not there, it won't. I put some crawlers here as well. I kind of like this. If you got something in the corner, you do this little flank and forward, and it kind of blocks a lot. Unless they have like anti-air on the Marksman. Okay, so he actually moved this back, so the Steel Balls do get a little distracted, and the Wraith gets distracted. The Farseer will help, like, clear that pretty quick. Also, the Wraith will clear that pretty quick. But it's a good distraction, I guess. I like the play. He puts the laser sight on the Marksman, and he shields. So both of us just sort of developing chaff and putting laser sight on our quote-unquote best units. Wraith does take a second to kill the tower, but the Steel Balls clear it pretty quick. And this looks like it's going pretty well, so now this is a beefy boy. Almost 35k health. That'll be really impossible for any of these units to kill it. And I still have 0 investment in the Wraith beyond leveling it up and taking it in the unit drop. So I can still just sell it anytime. It is the only unit that lived. Okay, so he goes with additional deployment. I think that's good for him. Since I'm pushing at him, he doesn't necessarily need the laser sight. He just needs more defense. I'm really looking at that laser sight. I'm definitely going to take that because, again, this game is all about tempo. I'm playing an aggressive position with Wraiths, and so I need to keep creating misdirection for my opponent. So he has more arc lights. He wants to clear my chaff more efficiently. And I'm really thinking about what I want to do here because I kind of want to pivot, right? I have this idea here It's pretty good, honestly. I don't need to do much more to it. I can expand to this side. I get some crawlers. Crawlers are always nice. I put them over here. Okay, I remember what I do now. I get another Wraith. I'm gonna put that laser sight on him. Mass Recruit, I get some steel balls. So I like this little pod, this formation, because a missile here blocks for the steel balls. The Wraith's good at clearing chaff. I sell some steel balls over here, since I just added some here. I get a mobile beacon. I'm going up that tower. And I still have no techs on anything. And he doesn't either. We're just looking at one another. Who's gonna tech what first? Unfortunately for him, I've been winning all the rounds, so I don't need to do anything really, right? I can just keep doing things like this. How do you even anticipate this? I mean, I guess you can, but that's tough. That's a lot of things that just happen there. And so now he has to not only defend this side, which is still losing, but now he has to defend the other side too. More misdirection. And I got another level on the Wraith, which is crazy. Okay, so now there's some crazy options here. There's 2 Mustangs are pretty good, but he won't take it because I run armor on Wraiths. The Scorpion is really good. If I'm him, I would get Scorpion and put it here. I do have steel balls, but still, I feel like Scorpion's like pretty good. Typhoon for me is like, it's either Mustangs or Typhoons for me. I love the Typhoon so much, and a level 3 one is stupidly strong. Yeah, I'm just deciding between these two mostly. Like, do I want Stangs or do I want Typhoon? And since the Typhoon hits harder, I opt to go with Typhoon. Now, it's on this round that I fully expect him to be clicking anti-air specialization. This is a level 3 Wraith. Now, I honestly, I don't know why he didn't click it. I would click it, because I have 2 Wraiths now, which is why I sell this Wraith, and I stick it on the Typhoon instead. So this is another example of me pivoting. So how do you even anticipate this play, right? I sell the Wraith. I have now 3 Typhoons, one of which is level 3 with a laser sight. Like, you can't even anticipate this stuff. So this is my whole gameplay. At a certain point, his side of the board, look how developed it is. My little tempo trick plays, that's what I'd call them, I guess, will run out of steam. They absolutely will just run out of steam, and eventually I'll lose, so I really have to win in the next couple rounds, or I'm screwed. But this is how I maintain tempo. I keep doing things that my opponent really... It's super hard to anticipate. And I take Mech Rage. I flank with Crawlers and Typhoon, which will now like distract and kill Phoenixes. I move the Wraith back again because I thought he was going to click anti-air at this point. And so moving back a little bit and then moving forward will help, because if the marksman targets something else, then it takes them a second to like acquire the targeting on the Wraith now. That was that point of that little beacon there. But I didn't need it, ultimately. And now these Typhoons with Mech Rage are just going to like destroy and push at this tower. Like, the Phoenix play is good if I keep the Wraith and don't do this. But I kind of expect him to answer, you know? So now you got to answer this instead. These Foons killing the Phoenixes. These Typhoons killing everything, honestly. So strong. 427 damage per shot. They're just ripping shots out with Mech Rage. So this will be another round for us. And it's a much better round than the last one, since last round I only had a Wraith survive. So now I've definitely gained back tempo. Again, you know. Okay, so my mind sees the absorption module. It's a good item for Typhoon, but I don't have any level 2 Typhoons yet, and level 1s, they do die relatively quickly, so I don't end up grabbing it. We're sort of in a standoff where, like, no one is taking technologies, so I'm looking at it, but I need to win, like, immediately if I have a chance at actually, you know, if I'm gonna win, I like have to do it in the next couple of rounds. So I take the tempo play with the Electromag Impact. I'm just gonna hit all of this junk, which is a good call because he armors the Tarantula, which would be a formidable foe. And will be a formidable foe for these Typhoons, to the point where I think they're gonna lose that fight. So now I have all my supplies still. I'm just thinking about what's the next play that is really difficult to anticipate. I sell the Farseer. I get some more Typhoons. Luckily, I have the Electromag. This is lucky. I recognize that because this wouldn't hurt this guy. I take field maintenance. So this is my hedge against everything. Okay, actually blocks it with the Electromag. But Steel Balls will kill this guy anyway. And yeah, that Tarantula is surviving really well. He didn't actually solve the Typhoon problem in the back. And I've beaconed this Wraith in a way where now he's can take out all this stuff that it wasn't really doing as well before. These Steel Balls are not the worst. Like, they're still distracting. But it really does just come down to the Wraith on this play. Which I'm not blind to here. So for anybody who struggles at closing out games, the play that I do next is a very good example of some quick math. Right, this is just a math game. How do I do 1106 damage? He hasn't clicked anti-air specialization on the marksman. So at this point, I'm like, he's got so many Phoenixes. Well, he actually did just sell one. He gets a melting point. Yeah, he's had enough with these Wraiths, right? But, like, again, he could just click this anti-air specialization button on the marksman, and all of his problems are solved. But he just hasn't done it. And because he hasn't done it, I am now going to exploit that. Because I think I can win this round. I think I can win the game this round. I am going to win the game this round. So how am I going to do that? These Steel Balls are still distracted by these crawlers. I need to get to this tower as soon as possible. I level the Wraith. I got 1,200 supplies I'm working with. And I'm really thinking about this. What is the way... Okay, and there it is. I sell the big Typhoon. I elite recruit 2 more Wraiths with range. And I have 2 more laser sights. So laser sight here. Laser sight. Laser sights. Now I got 3 laser sight Wraiths. Which is nuts. I don't remember the last time I had 3 laser sight Wraiths. I have 300 money. Yep. So this play, it pushes the Wraiths to at least here. If I push towards this tower, and there's anything in the way, which there is a lot in the way, they won't get this close. But this is like the closest I can get to maximize their range. Hope that makes sense. Like, if there's anything in this path, the unit that's beaconed will stop moving. And so that's why this clicking is really annoying. I'm really sorry. I hope that makes sense. I can explain how mobile beacons work if anyone wants to know in a future video. It also gets away from these stupid crawlers. Okay. So now we've got these big boys with range enhancement and speed enhancement. So we're really just trying to get the tower. That is the entire goal here. But we've done it. This is level 4 Wraith. So all we need to survive is all 3 Wraiths. All 3 Wraiths and a couple Typhoons, and we win the game. And so that was the bet that I made there. Because I think on the next round, we basically start to lose the game. So we take the next tower, and we're able to mop up all these units. There's only a few crawlers left, and if we do the math, that's enough. That's enough damage. So, we mobile beaconed these Wraiths to here so that they wouldn't get distracted by the crawlers, because this play was all about ending the game. We needed to push at this tower sooner than later. So these are not allowed to go backwards if I want to win the game. Hence the mobile beacon. We sold the big Typhoon to free up the laser sight to add 2 more to Wraiths, which we also ranged. That's 130 meters, which matched the melting point. I didn't know he was going to add melting point, but the point was to get in, clear as much of the chaff as possible to free up the tower, which it did go off. So, and honestly, he never really answered this Typhoon thing that I had back here, which just continued to push forward. Like, I feel like 1 Rhino right here. I don't know. Whenever I have stuff like this on my flank, I just throw a Rhino down. That's probably the best thing he could have done. With 2 units, I distracted 6 deployments. So if you can do that, you should. Distracting 6 deployments is crazy. Everything walks this way when all my stuff walks at the tower. So with these tempo plays, you gotta keep the misdirection on. You might be, you might love steel balls. Like, I loved my steel balls here. But I needed to sell them. I needed the money. It's all about money with these tempo plays, and it's all about misdirection. So selling your units, don't become attached too much to any one idea. Keep pivoting, keep changing. I mean, look at my board. It's chaff. It's like Typhoons and Wraith. Look at all his stuff. He's got 1 million tanks. Pretty good tanks too. He's got a melting point. He's got a bunch of marksmen, Phoenix, a great front line of Fang chaff, which he could click the shields on. So eventually he wins the game. I got to keep doing things that he can't expect. Maintaining tempo is one of the most difficult skills to develop in this game, I think. Early on, if you're not an aggressive player, understanding tempo is a little more difficult. But once you mess around with aggressive positions like this a lot more, you learn how to close games a lot more effectively. You understand how to clear certain types of chaff efficiently. You understand which units in the way are actually problems, or whether or not I can just shoot over their head anyway and like hit these towers. So even if you're gonna lose some games, experimenting with these playstyles is extremely beneficial and will make you a lot better player. I think practicing aggression is easiest with steel balls paired with wraiths. They're a really, really potent combo that you can do a lot of different stuff with. And honestly, it's also just really fun to play, so it keeps you interested, or at least it keeps me interested. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but it helps me to have fun. So if you've got, a play style that's a little staled out, or you've been playing it for a long time, try something new. or something like this. I don't have a lot of units here, but it got the job done. I mean, I will be honest, 3 laser sights is a little crazy, right? You don't get 3 laser sights every game, so probably has a lot to do with the win, but I didn't even take any damage, so I feel like this was a good example of a game where I maintained tempo the entire time to the point where the game was won. Thanks very much for watching the video. I really appreciate everybody who's been liking and subscribing and commenting on all the videos. It's been crazy to watch the growth of the channel. Super exciting. Wow, you guys are awesome. Thank you. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.